Check your settings. Making rookie moves out here, man. Rookie moves. So many mistakes on this trip. My goodness.
So full disclosure, I was actually going to scrap this entire video because it is chock full of mistakes and complete failures. I remember getting back from this trip and just thinking, I'm gonna be able to do something with this footage. And as I've been sitting here editing it for the past couple days, I realized I can't really do anything with this footage. So I was just gonna scrap it. I was gonna scrap the whole thing. Then I realized in literally every single video I do, I say that I try to bring my mistakes to YouTube to maybe show you them so you don't make the same one. So I thought, what better way than to take a terrible, awful experience that I had, my own fault that I had, than to use it as a tool to show you as a viewer what not to do in landscape photography ever. My name is Elias. I am an amateur landscape photographer, and this video will showcase that. I live in the Pacific Northwest. I like to take my journeys then going out and exploring the Pacific Northwest and showcase them to YouTube, showing my journey as a new landscape photographer. In this video, I will be covering the many mistakes I made on a journey I took to the coast to show you in hopes that you will not make these same ones and have a much more successful trip than I did. If this kind of content interests you, consider subscribing. I put a video out every single week. Although I do consider myself an amateur landscape photographer, I do not consider myself a rookie. And everything I did in this video, in this entire trip, were rookie moves. And the sheer embarrassment and pain that I've gotten from going back and seeing everything that happened on this trip, it is taking everything in me to actually bring this video to life. I'm going to be showing you what I consider from this trip to be 5 beginner mistakes not to make in landscape photography, especially if you're just starting out. Let's get into it. Backstory behind this, because I'm not going to be showing everything that I explained in the video because I had a completely different idea for this video. My plan was to go to the coast. During the summer, it was 105, 110 degrees in Portland. The coast is an hour and a half away. I figured what better way to then escape the heat than to go to the coast where it's always at least 20 to 30 degrees cooler. Now in landscape photography, kind of the goal of the entire premise of it is to go somewhere to shoot where there's not a lot of people, mind you. That would be mistake number 1, which is choosing a popular location to shoot. In this case, I chose Pacific City. It's one of my favorite cities on the coast. But alas, there were some elements that helped this spot be so packed this weekend I was going there. Time was another thing. The weekend. I chose to go to the coast on the weekend. This is, by all accounts, one of the biggest rookie mistakes is to go to a popular spot. Maybe you're trying to get exposure, maybe you just really want the shot, and even though there's a bunch of people there, you're willing to suffer through it. I was not willing to suffer through it, and I chose the wrong location.
We just arrived in Pacific City, Cape Kiwanda area, and whew, this is not what I was expecting for moody atmosphere. It is completely full of people, which the Oregon coast is always busy on the weekends, but I figured, you know, just misty fogginess, I just figured that it would detour people, but I mean, I guess I'm one of those people, so I can't really complain. I really can't. It's very crowded here, but I'm already here. And I kind of want to go up and see what it's like on Cape Kiwanda with this moody atmosphere. Never been here when it's super moody like this, so I'm kind of excited to just go over there and see what happens. I'm going to get changed because it just dropped from 105 in Portland to 62 degrees here in only a 70-mile span.
Noticing how foggy it is on the coast. Well, this actually brings me to my second mistake that I made. I specifically knew that because it was so hot in Portland and the coast would be so much cooler, I would go there no matter what the weather conditions were. Now this is normally how it works, right? I'd like to say that this was on purpose, that I went there to chase fog, correct? But in this case, the weather actually backfired on me because it never occurred to me to stop and think that because I was escaping the heat, the weather from Portland, super hot, to go to the coast where the weather was much cooler, that everybody else might not have the same idea as I had. It was impossible to find anywhere to shoot in this entire area where there wasn't somebody, people, family, anything anywhere in any scene, no matter what I did. I was at Pacific City in Cape Kiwana. I went up to the sand dune where I thought maybe there wouldn't be too many people up there. As I made my way up there was just as many people up there. And I just said, you know what, I can't do this. I'm gonna leave this area.
So I wanna be honest, this is super, super moody, super atmospheric, and I really like it, but there are so many people here. I kinda got like bad feelings at the parking lot, and I was like, nah, there won't be too many over there, and there are. So not really sure what to do. Not really sure what to do.
So I made my way back down the dune in complete shame, but I had a backup plan. In an earlier video I did, I went to somewhere very close to this area called Mount Hebo. The elevation is huge, and I thought maybe I can get up there and be above the clouds and actually enjoy a sunset. The only problem was I had less than an hour to get there, and it's about a 30 to 40 minute drive from where I was. Which brings me to the third rookie mistake I made in this video, which is rushing yourself with time. Working with limited time is asking for disaster, especially in an area that you're not used to, and especially when you're gonna be chasing the light when you get there when sunset is only minutes away and you have no idea what you're gonna shoot. And you're trying to film a YouTube video about it. Absolute recipe for disaster.
So just arrived, it's windy, not the only one here. We are definitely way above the clouds. The sun only has 40 minutes before it goes down. I'm in a hurry, I hate being rushed like this. God, it sucks. I'm gonna get my stuff together, walk down, see what we can find.
Committing to something, sticking to the plan, and seeing it through. Did not do any of these things, and I paid the price for it.
So I'm obviously not the only one here. By right, I shouldn't be. Man, this is an awesome view. Gotta move fast. About 20 minutes before the sun sets. Colors getting vibrant. Gotta really figure out what I'm gonna do here because there's a lot going on.
Now, being up here, I've tried to implement a new accessory I have, which is a drone. I have the Mavic 2 Pro now, and I really wanted to start implementing it in my YouTube videos. Instead of committing to go down to the site and have way more time to figure out what I need to shoot while the sun is setting, I decided to fly the drone and get a lot of drone footage, thus lowering the gap of how much time I had to actually take photos in a place that I had no idea what I was looking at. I ended up getting down to the location, and honestly, the sun was setting, the scene was huge vista, I had no idea what to shoot, so I just resorted to a pano, and I ended up grabbing one pano.
So I apologize. I kind of lost it back there. It was just, it's so hard in photography when you have it literally right in front of you and you can't do anything about it. You can't figure it out. Maybe I could have found a composition if I had a little bit more time. Maybe not. I'm not quite sure, but it is what it is, and I can't really do anything about it now. So I just got to move on, and it's all good. Like, it's whatever. Not a big deal. As far as what I'm going to do from here on out, conditions are supposed to be the same as they are right now. Actually, the clouds should be a little bit more farther inland, the marine layer. And it might be cool to have time to get something where the sun is actually rising, backlit these clouds, and see the sun kind of catch them as it comes over. I'm not sure, because when it comes to being above the clouds, that's like my favorite thing ever. Also, there might be a chance to get some sort of Milky Way action here at around 3 a.m.-ish. So I might go out there for that. I might not. It's kind of scary up here. I'm here by myself, but I do have service, so that is cool. I don't really know what I'm gonna do. All I know is I'm starving. I've not eaten for the last, like 10 hours. I've just been go. I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna hang out. We'll see what happens. Either way, I will see you in the morning. Morning. Whew, that was not a good night's sleep. God, I barely slept. Got up for that Milky Way shot, which I'm very happy about. Looks like we have some interesting stuff going on over here. There's some high clouds that might catch in a bit. I can already see that the clouds are, or the marine layer over there is super low. I'm gonna get my shoes on, grab my stuff, grab my coffee, I'm gonna make some coffee. We're gonna go down over there, same spot, and just kind of just see what happens. It looks amazing down there. I'm gonna pop the drone out, look at that. I don't know, it's like a, oh yeah, that looks pretty sweet. That was my thing last night, dude. I had zero time to find any kind of composition, and I don't want that to happen today. So yeah, we're just gonna kind of see what happens. Honestly, what I should have done last night was stuck around and try to find compositions for this morning. I'm out here trying to do stuff that I'm not normally would do with the conditions that I'm given, but yeah, we'll see what happens.
I made a really good point here where I said, I don't really know what I'm going to do. I'm just gonna kind of see what happens. And this is one of the most annoying things you can do in landscape photography. And it brings us to our fourth beginner mistake, which is because it's a pretty picture, there has to be an image, right? Wrong! That could not be further from the truth. Just because you're looking at something and it looks nice does not mean there's a composition there. It does not mean there's a photo to be had. I found myself going through so many areas of just being confused, looking around, looking at this giant vista with low fog all around me, with haze all in the sky. There was color, there was everything. I just couldn't find a photo. I might as well have just taken my phone and taken a picture because that's what it looked like. Just because it is a pretty scene does not mean there is a photo there.
Man, it's beautiful out here. It's really cool. It's just, again, like, you have such a grand vista. I don't really know what to do composition-wise. I see this and I think it screams to me panoramic, which I already took last night, which was cool. But color back here, you have color over there, but you're blocked by a tree line. You have this sea of clouds, this blanket of fog that we're above, and it looks super cool. It's just, same thing as last night. It's just like, what do I do with it? I don't know what to do with it, and I guess that's what I need to do. Am I focusing?
So in this setting, I actually was able to pull myself together and try to just really focus on these small inner details, whatever I can find to find at least one photograph. And lo and behold, I actually found one that was okay. So I'm finally thinking, okay, I found something. I found a subject, I found a foreground, I found a background, everything's good. I still have time, the clouds still have color. This is all good, right? Fine and dandy. In my short time as a landscape photographer, I have found that it's very easy to do the fifth and final beginner mistake that I'm about to share with you. And I think it's something that's actually can follow you your entire photography career if you're not careful about it. And that is complacency. Becoming complacent in anything you do is a dangerous, dangerous, dangerous thing.
All right, so first photo, very basic. I don't even know if it's gonna be good, to be honest. There's a lot of wildflowers in this area, and I've been trying to figure out how I can use it to my advantage. I found this little fireweed coming out. I think it's a fireweed. And it's got a bunch of little wildflowers around it. So I'm just trying to make it the center point. These clouds are kind of catching behind it. The sun's just rising right now. So first one's the bag, baby. Well, God, I need some coffee. Ah, there's bugs everywhere.
Yes, you are seeing that correctly. ISO 8000. 8,000. I try to shoot at 100 at all times. Very rarely, unless it's a Milky Way photo, astrophotography, on this channel will you ever see my ISO above 400. The night before, while I was sleeping, I actually got up to take a Milky Way photo, which I'll be talking about at the end of this video. In Milky Way photography, you have to shoot with an extremely high ISO. Setting up for this one shot that I finally was happy, I said, okay, we have one. At least we got one thing going for us right now. It's not great, but we got one thing. Rushing myself through the process, I became complacent and just didn't realize that there was a major problem with my settings in this photo.
I tell you what, this trip has definitely been, it's so hard when you're out here with a camera and conditions are changing like crazy. The light's hitting different ways. You're chasing the light, you're chasing the mood. It's so easy to get complacent. I left my settings on from last night and I forgot to turn down my ISO. So I was shooting all of those pictures at like 8,000 ISO. Making rookie moves out here, man. Rookie moves.
5 beginner mistakes that I've made throughout this video. Hopefully you do not repeat. But I do want to share one thing about this entire trip that I think holds true in any situation that you're in. The video's been pretty negative so far, so I want to end on an absolute positive because I wholeheartedly believe this. And a good friend of mine actually shared this with me, and you know, the more I thought about it, the more I absolutely believe it, because in this situation, it's true. And that is, you can go an entire trip somewhere. You can spend 5 days somewhere, you can spend 7 days somewhere, 2 weeks somewhere. You can have all the terrible photos and the terrible timing and weather that you can have the entire time and just think this was just a total wash. But if you come away with one photo, and I'm talking one single picture that you are just stoked on, it makes the entire trip worth it. I went out in the middle of the night, drug myself out of my car, saw the Milky Way and said, you know what, I'm just gonna take 1 or 2 photos and I'm gonna go back to bed. I came away with one photo that I 100% believe made this entire trip worth it. Beginner mistakes not to make in landscape photography. I hope you got some sort of value out of this video. On any level of expertise you are in landscape photography, it's always good to have a refresher on some of these items to keep them fresh in your mind, to make sure you never do these things. If you enjoy this kind of content, seeing me try to bring more videos like this where I'm trying to share my experience and try to give you the opportunity to not make the same mistakes that I do, consider subscribing. I put a video out every single week. If you got any value out of this video, any value out of learning any of these things, if just one of these items have helped you in any way, shape, or form, please hit that like button. It helps me out dramatically. I'm still new to YouTube as I am to landscape photography. Please hit the like button. That's it for this week's video. Next week we'll be back to our regular scheduled program. I'm gonna be trying to be doing more videos like this in the future. If you like vlogging, I like bringing my on-location experience to YouTube, but I like to do more of these types of videos, so expect more of those in the future. That is it, guys. I will see you next week. Thank you so much for watching.